Hello folks, today we are going to talk about variables and data types in Java. So in this topic our agenda is to complete what is variable, syntax for declaring a variable, naming conventions for variables, primitive data types, non-primitive data types, typecasting and example of variables and data types. So let me talk each topic one by one. So what is variable? A variable is in Java is a container or memory location that stores a value which can be changed during the program's execution. So what it says, let me explain through diagram. So let's say here, so this is a container. So this is a container and there is some object. So this is called object. So this is called object, and this object we are putting into this container. So this is called container, and container, as we understood, variable is a container. So this is variable. So we have understood about variable. So here it is saying a variable in Java is a container or memory location. So here this is variable, and so variable is a container. So variable is a container, and in that we are storing some object. So at the place of object, let's say here 10 is there. So this 10 value we are storing into this container, this variable. So another it point says each variable has a specific data type that defines the kind of data it can hold. So every variable, so let's say this is a variable, so we are storing into this 10 value into variable. So let's say here variable is there, and every variable is having some data type. So let's say int. So I will be talking in a bit what is the data types and how many data types are there. So just for now you can understand this. So 10 is a value which is storing into variable, and variable, each variable will be having some data type. So for every variable this they will be having data type. So int is a data type. In Java, variables must be declared with a name and data type before they can used. So before using this variable, we must have to explicitly write its data type in Java, and we have to name its variable name. So that's what it says. Now syntax for declaring a variable. So how we will be writing syntax? So let's say here, here only. Let's say here I am having 10. 10 is the value, and here we are storing into some variable. Let's say var, and variable will be having some data type. So int. So this will be the syntax. First for data type will become data type, and after that we have to give some variable name, and after that we have to assign some value. So we are assigning some values. So this will be the syntax: data type, variable name and values. You can simply say that we have to first assign, we have to assign this value to some variable, and variable must have their specific data type. Now here you can see, so int salary. So int salary will be variable, and int will be data type. Here a string name is there. So you tell me what will be the name and what will be the string. I'll just pause this video and you just tell me. So let's say name will be variable name and string will be data type. So in that way it is saying int is the data type and salary is the variable name, string is the data type and name is the variable name. Now naming conventions for variable. So variable names should start with a lowercase letter and follow camel case convention. So let me write in the notepad. So every variable, let's say we are using, let's say this is the syntax. First of all, I will write the syntax. So let's say num is equals to 10. So this will be the data type, this will be the variable, and we are assigning 10 to this variable, and every variable will be having some data type. Now rules for defining. So first of all, we have to follow some conventions. Camel case notation. So what is camel case notation? So camel case will be acting like a, so camel case hump, you can see that like this. So first of all lower, and then first of all this will be lower, and then upper, and then lower. So this is the camel case. If variable name will be different, let's say here, so my name is, let's say a string name of person, name of person is equals to, let's say here we'll write prince. So here a string will be data type. Here name of person will be variable, and we are storing some values to this variable name of person. So here you can see that the first letter starts with a small case and then it follows, and when some other word is just joining, so here name will be another one word, and after that we are concatenating another word as well. So off, so off, the first letter of off will be capital, and then we are also concatenating person. So the first letter for person will be p and it is in caps. So this is the camel case notation. We have to we have to follow this convention. So this is what it is saying. Now variable names cannot start with a number, they must begin with a letter, underscore or dollar sign. So let me open the here. So let's say here I am writing as int age is equals to 10. So this is correctly fine, no error is there. If we want to print, then we can print as well. Just print it. So age is 10, so successfully it executed, but it is saying that name variable names cannot start with a number. So if we will write here number, let's say at the age, if we will write, let's say 1, so 1 is a number, and just save this. So you can see that this cross error mark is coming. We should not have to include special characters like at the rate, hash. So again this error is coming. So we have not to write here, and one should not be there, but special characters like underscore, so underscore is perfectly fine. When you will print this, so it will print 10, and you can use dollar as well. So dollar, and here we'll write dollar, so it will print successfully 10. Now another, variable should not contain white spaces. So in between we should not have to include white spaces. Let's say in the age I will just use this one. And when I will run, you see errors exist in required project. So we do not have to include white spaces. Avoid using single character name. So single character name we should have to avoid. This is not the best practice. And avoid using reserved Java keywords as variable names, example int, class, public. So I will be talking Java keywords in future videos. So just for now you can understand that int is a keyword, class is a keyword, and public is a keyword. So we do not have to use reserved Java keywords as a variable name. Now primitive data types. So data type is eight primitive data types is there. One is byte, second one is short, third one is int, fourth one is long, fifth float, sixth double, seven char, boolean is the eight. So for byte, size will be 1 byte, and 1 byte will be equals to 8 bits. So here I have already written 1 byte is equals to 8 bits. So the range will be minus 128 to 127, and default value will be 0. And with the help of example we can write byte b is equals to 100. So byte b is equals to 100. So byte is a reserved keyword, we do not have to use as a variable. So byte is a keyword. So data type, byte is a data type, b is a variable, and 100 is the value. For short, 2 bytes will be there. Size, range 32,768 to 32,767. Default value will be 0. And for shorts, for short we can use short s is equals to 400. So again 400 value is assigning to this variable s, and we are using, so every variable will be having some data type. So short will be data type. Again int, so int will be having 4 bytes ranging from 2147 483 648 to 247 483 647. So starting from minus 2 to positive 2147 483 647, and default value will be 0. And in this way we can write integer int x is equals to 10 50 50. So you can go over this PDF file I will be sharing in the this video link, so you can download from there. So long will be 8 bytes, and it is ranging from minus 2 to the power 63 to 2 to the power 63 minus 1, and its default value is 01. So for population we can use this long data type. And for float, 4 is having 4 bytes, whereas double is having 8 bytes. Default value will be for float 0.0f. We have to use f here at the last. It's mandatory. Otherwise it will considered as double value. But whenever you will write float f is equals to 3.14 f, so data type will be, if it is float then we must have to use f here. And in double, so we can use double is having 8 bytes, and we can write like this: double price is equals to 19.99. So here d is not required, but in float we have to use f. Char is 2 bytes, and default value will be white spaces, so null value. Char later, so here we can use single character. So let's say p is a single character, and in between, and to represent this we have to use single quotes, starting quotes and ending quotes. Boolean, so boolean will be, size will be 1 byte, and its range is true and false, true or false. Only two values is there. So default value will be false, and for this boolean it will be always false. Default value will be false. But when we will write boolean b is equals to true, so we do not have to use single quotes or double quotes. So if we will write double quotes here, starting double quotes and ending double quotes, it will be treated as a string. But we have to write like this only true. Now non-preemptive data types. So first one is a string. So depends on character. Like if here prince, so what will be the size? So first, so string dot length is a method, so with the help of length method we can get the size. So here length will be 1 2 3 4 5 6, so 6 will be the output. So it depends on the character, and default value will be null, and we can write like this. So here you can see that in in primitive data type, all data types will be small. So b is a small, s is a small, I is a small, long is small, float, double, boolean, char, so all are in a small. But you can see that string, the first letter is capital, so we have to write like this only. String name is equals to prince. And for arrays, size is not applicable, default value is not applicable, so we can represent like this: integer array numbers equals to 1356. So I will be talking in the future videos about arrays concept. Now type casting. So there are two types of type casting. So first of all, understand what is casting. So type casting is the process of converting one type to another. So if we are converting from one data type to another, then that is called typecasting. There are two types of typecasting in Java. First one is implicit typecasting. It is also called as automatic typecasting, and it is also called as widening concept. Explicit typecasting, it is called as manual, and we have to do it manually. And for implicit typecasting, we have, it will be automatically converted, so we do not have to do any operations. But for this explicit typecasting, we have to do it manually. And implicit typecasting is also called as widening, whereas explicit typecasting is also called as narrowing. I will be talking about implicit typecasting. So it is automatic type. So let me go to the notepad. So here I will be writing as int num is equals to 20, and we are assigning num values to float. Float f. So it is perfectly fine. You can execute this and go to Eclipse. Here, just execute this one. So it is having no error. Just save this, and if you would like to print, then just print f. Save this and now execute this. So 20.0. So it is perfectly fine. So let's say I will be talking here. Let's say float is there. Float f1 is equals to 10.0 f. So for float we have to use f explicitly, otherwise it will say error type. Let's say I will, if I will remove this f, then you see that this cross marks is coming, and here it is saying type mismatch, cannot convert from double to float. So it is considered as double value, and from double value we cannot convert and assign to the float values. So for float we have to use f. And if we want to assign into double, so first of all I will create as double and d1. So we are assigning f1 to the double values. So double is data type and d1 is the variable, and we are assigning float values to d1 variable is of double type. So if we will print this, let me print it here. So I will be printing d1. So this is automatic conversion. So you can see that 10 is printing. So this is implicit type casting. Let me go over there. So for implicit typecasting, if we are following moving towards byte to short and short to int to long, and long to float, and float to double. So this is called implicit typecasting. We do not have to use explicitly cast it into from one type to another. And here, so byte is one byte, short is 2 bytes, int is 4 byte, long is 8 byte, and float is 4 byte, and double is 8 byte. So and char is 2 byte. So from 2 byte we can convert into four. That's why here it is char. So char is 2 byte and int is four. So we can directly cast into lower data type to high data type. So int is having high data type and char is having low data type. So we can cast it into this way. Whereas if we are going from left to right in this way, so we do not have to use explicit typecasting. We do not have to cast from one type to another. So for implicit typecasting, this is the example. So int number is equals to 100 and the long result is equals to number. So we are assigning this number data type. And what is the data type for number? Let's say int. So we are assigning int data type to long data type. So smaller to higher. So this is called implicit typecasting. And for explicit typecasting, we have to do it manually. Like this happens when you explicitly convert a larger data type into a smaller data type. This type of casting can result in data loss if not handled properly. So let me talk with this example. So float f is equals to 3.99f. So whenever we will writing float data type, we have to use explicitly f here. Otherwise, it will be treated as double value. So from f, we are assigning into integer data type. So from f, so f is float, and we from float we are assigning into int. If we will not handle this, then the data loss will be there. So for this we have to explicitly cast int. That's why from int to int we can pass. That's why I have casted into int and storing into int data type num variable. Now moving towards, so basic rules for implicit typecasting I have already explained you. So from byte, short, char, int, long, float, double. From left to right, implicit typecasting, and from right to left. If we are coming from right to left, let's say double is there, and for double values, we are assigning into float. So we are coming from higher to lower. So it if we have to cast it, otherwise data loss will be there. So in that way, if we are coming from right to left, then we have to use explicit typecasting and we have to explicitly cast it. Now example of variables and data types. So let me talk here in the Excel. Let me remove this or let it be there for future reference. Let's say byte b is equals to 127. So highest values we can store byte in 127. Short s is equals to, let's say, 1234, and int, let's say, age is equals to 26. So from this example, I will illustrate the what are the best practices. So is like starting from small letters, and whenever if we will join another words, let's say age of person. So again, we are following camel case notation, age of person. So first for the first word will be smaller, and after when we will concatenate another word, then it will be starting the first letter of character will be caps. So this thing we can do. And let's say float salary, and in salary we can use dollar, so perfectly fine. And here we will be writing 10.0 f, something like this. So this is perfectly fine. And when we will even use double, let's say d is equals to 10.09, it is also valid. And let's say string str is equals to name and boolean true. And if we'll just want to print, so here b, when we will write some special characters, let's say salary, I will be writing like this at the rate. So you see that this error is coming whenever over mouse on this syntax error. Try dollar cannot be resolved to a variable. So let's say here syntax error on token at the rate expected. So at the rate is wrong here. We do not have to include special characters. So in that way we can print it. Let me print, run this. You see that program is executed fine and all the things is printed. So I have already made all the contents over this topic, whole topic. You can go through that. I will be sharing this in the link, downloadable link. You can download from there. Variables and data types, what we understood, what is variable. So variable is a container in which we can store the values. Syntax for declaring a variable, so first of all data type will be there, then variable name will be there, and in that some values will be assigning. So naming conventions for variables, we must have to use camel case notations. Primitive data types, there are 8 primitive data types are there: byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, boolean. So 8 primitive data types is there. Non-primitive data types, there are two. There are two. So first one is a string and second one is array. Typecasting, there are two types of casting. So implicit typecasting and explicit typecasting. So implicit typecasting we will do at that time when we are assigning lower value to the higher value, higher data type, then implicit typecasting will be there. And if we want if we want higher data type stored into lower data type, then we must have to use explicit typecasting. Examples of variables and data types we have also understood. Thank you for watching. We will meet in the next video.